This podcast is part of the Pull Up a Chair podcast network. Let's build community through connection, conversation, and collaboration. This podcast is sponsored by Lever Consulting, editing with a purpose. Check them out at leverconsulting.com for a free consultation.
Hey friends, you're listening to the Cat and V Show. Pour yourself a juicy cup of tea, grab a seat, and get ready for us to dish. Welcome back to the Cat and V Show. Today we're going to talk about how we're old millennials that need hearing aids.
We're actually mid-tier millennial. No, you might be on the younger side of millennials.
Yeah, I'm at the weird cutoff where some would argue that I'm millennial and some would argue that I am technically Gen Z.
Like, you are not in any way.
I am, maturity-wise, I'm a millennial.
Yeah, I just don't.
Even if I was born in the 90s.
I mean, you're only 2 years younger than me, so I am like the millennial age, from the ages of like 27 to like 32, I think.
Are solid millennials, and anything younger than that is kind of borderline.
Yeah, I'm sure that they detail it somewhere. And
I've seen 1,000 different arguments of it being this or it being that. Like, the exact year cutoff is hard to say. I think when it gets to those like iffy years, it's about personality. And according to TikTok, like a month ago at this point, skinny jeans and side parts and laughing emojis all got canceled.
I'm like unfazed by it because none of it matters to me. I live in my yoga pants now. And I part my hair however the hell I want to part it. I do use the laughing emoji, but I don't care what people think. Like, why is this a thing? When did emoji usage, the parting of your hair, and the jeans that you wear become a social construct?
Yeah, okay. So I get like jeans coming in and out of styles, but I can't part my hair in the middle. Otherwise, I look like Ozzy Osbourne.
A lot of people can't. And I would argue to say that a lot of Gen Z people look hideous with it. So don't come for me, Gen Zs, but
it depends on your face.
Yeah, like it has nothing to do with your age, and has all the things to do with what your face like is shaped like and the features. I don't know. And to be honest, like, who cares? It's such a just unimportant decision that you make in your day-to-day life. Why?
I thought it was really funny when I was seeing it pop up and like everybody was talking about how all of a sudden these things are out of style and all of a sudden millennials aren't cool, and it's all like, of course the only cool people are teenagers. Teenagers decide what's cool. Like, that's kind of how it all works. It's all always worked like that. I don't know why anybody's surprised.
I was never cool as a teenager.
Me either.
So I don't know. It doesn't apply to me. I think it's funny because a lot of the millennials on TikTok have come for them.
Yeah, there was a big backlash for a while there.
And it's funny because why? And I agree with a lot of this backlash because Gen Zers ate Tide Pods at one point.
Oh, yeah, the cringe.
What type of merit does this generation of people have right now if they are the reason that Tide Pods are locked up and can't be bought by anybody? They are the reason that Tide Pods are now in the same category as lighters and spray paint and like all the things that like are dangerous. They are the reason, and they have the audacity to judge us for wearing skinny jeans and parting our hair towards the side.
I also want to know, why is all the hate going towards boomers and millennials, but nobody's talking about Gen X?
Gen X is like the silent generation, isn't it? Like,
Yeah, the silent generation.
Yeah.
They're living up to their namesake.
Yeah, well, most of the people that are Gen X that I know are pretty, like, they're just not as, like, vocal about anything that's going on ever. Like, I feel like boomers always had opinions. Millennials had to stand up for ourselves a lot, so we have a lot of opinions.
Yeah, nobody, like, gave us any leeway.
Yeah, like, we were always judged, and we had it rough. Also, the boomers ruined the economy for us, so we're, like, crawling back from the ashes of, like, so many of these deep-rooted situations that boomers caused. And then the Gen Zers are just...
They're
teenagers right now, so they all think that they are invincible and they decide what's cool, I guess. I don't really care. These things don't really faze me a whole lot because it doesn't, in the long run, nobody actually cares. I don't know. I think it's just, for me, I never really had, I never fit in anywhere. So the fact that Gen Zers are making fun of a whole generation of people for being the way that they are just doesn't faze me because I never really fully identified with millennialism or anything really. I don't know. I do. Actually, that's a lie. I do identify as a millennial. I just don't care what they say. Like,
being a millennial really sucks though, because you have all the expectations to get the education or do whatever, but then we go into the job market and they're like, oh, we want 10 years of experience to give you a decent pay.
I hate that.
It's like, I was a teenager back when you wanted me to start getting experience.
We also invented memes. So,
actually, the memes were invented in the 16th century.
I remember. No, well, we brought the memes back. Okay,
we brought them back.
We brought them back, and I have to say that contribution to society should trump any other type of judgment towards us, because memes are a pivotal form of human communication right now. So, and I will forever stand by that.
No arguments there.
Yeah. Memes are my love language. I will also accept food and validation.
Okay, so what's the order? Food, memes, validation, or validation, food, memes?
Food, probably, because I probably wouldn't survive without it. No, I 100% wouldn't survive without it. Validation, probably second, because second to food, I probably wouldn't survive without that either. Just kidding. But and then also, what was it? Memes? Memes are just like the ultimate. They're a gift to society. Go Millennials for giving the world back, or bringing memes back into the plane of popularity.
One thing I do want to mention though is jeans. Skinny jeans, mom jeans, or whatever kind of jeans. I've never found a pair of jeans that actually fit me and looked good at the same time, or felt good at the same time, because my body shape and denim and fashion designers don't all come together for a pretty equation. I either look pregnant, or there's a butt gap, or I'm very uncomfortable.
Have you tried Fashion Nova? It's like, isn't it pretty reasonably priced for...
It is reasonably priced, but it has worse ethics than most other fast fashion brands.
Is it like... Oh, okay. It's like...
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
I have a little bit of morals sometimes. Not always, but sometimes.
Yeah, you're pretty opinionated about, like, where your shit comes from. I can respect that. From what I've heard about Fashion Nova, is that it's, like, geared towards people that are shaped more curvaceous. So, I don't know.
I also feel weird about buying jeans online that I can't, like, try on. Because something that looks one way on the rack won't look that way on me. And so I have a couple of jeans that are, like, fine, but I rather just do leggings because I'm lazy. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, I live in my yoga pants, so I can say nothing here. I really do miss wearing normal clothes. But I haven't been able to go home to where all of my clothes are in quite a while, so
So you've had like the same wardrobe?
Yeah, I'm getting a little sick of it, and I've bought a few things here, but I also like don't want to buy stuff because then I have to bring it home.
Gosh.
And it's waste. I don't know. It's a whole thing for me, but I also need to lose weight so I'll fit into most of the clothes that I used to fit into.
The internal struggle of growing older and growing whiter.
It's the pandemic, really. I feel like the world became a heavier place during the pandemic.
It's so messed up, but I love it.
I mean, gyms were shut down, and like so many things, people had to order food home. I guess like some people had to make their own food, so maybe that helped a little bit. Man, it's 2021. What a year to be alive and a millennial.
Right, like we went through 2 depressions in our lifetimes and we're still being called lazy.
They keep giving us shit for having mental issues, but like, wouldn't you have mental issues?
Mental issues have been going back in the generations for decades. We're just not hiding it as well as the other generations wanted us to. We're like, no, we need help. We're not just going to suffer like you did.
I feel like this is like what goes with the whole meme situation. I love anxiety memes, okay? Anxiety, depression memes, those are my jam. I relate to them on a deep level. They speak to me, okay? It's funny. It's funny. I like memes. I don't know. I just think that millennials have done a really good job setting the stage for the next generation, to be honest. Like we've opened up conversations that Generation Z didn't have the balls to open up. Like,
well, the silent generation didn't really, I'm sure that they did a lot during their lifetimes, but they didn't really move the culture forward in the way that we did and the way that it seems like Gen Z is going to.
They didn't.
And then the boomers, like, I'm not going to be mean, but according to my mother-in-law, they really coasted off of their parents' success because before them was the greatest generation that came off of World War II and had a lot of effort being put into childcare, and that's where the first round of...
Right, like housewives, right?
Yeah, the first real round of, like, housewives came in. Yeah, so any boomer that tells you, I fought in the Great World War, it's like, no, you're not old enough to have fought in the Great War. Your dad probably did, and then your mom probably worked during it, because that's how World War II was.
That makes me think of this one TikTok that I heard. By the way, I also think that as time goes on, platforms are more accessible, and the ability to be opinionated and talk about your opinions is so much more accessible to people. And it's just going to keep going in that direction.
Yeah, also platforms come and go, because I started with MySpace.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Forever and a half ago. MySpace is dead.
Yeah.
And then it was Tumblr. Tumblr is a very strange place now. Don't go there.
I almost never log into Facebook anymore.
Yeah, no, and Facebook's definitely for the older generations. We're on Instagram, and Gen Z's like on TikTok, but there's like a lot of crossover. But it's interesting to see how the platforms are coming and going in popularity.
Yeah, and they do shape the way our generations interact with society overall and with each other. So I'm not surprised.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, because in the silent generation, they didn't, I don't know, there wasn't any, I think that's when MySpace was like at its peak, and Zynga.
Yeah, when they were younger. Cause when AOL. I was starting in. Yeah, AOL.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was another one.
MSN Messenger or something like that. It was
like People's Place or something like that was popular back then too.
I don't know. It's interesting. Actually, I think that my business coach is a silent generation. But she's like different though.
Because there is a bleeding period between each generation.
Yeah.
Like, my grandfather is technically part of the greatest generation. He's in his, like, late 80s.
I cannot believe that he's...
But he acts like a boomer.
Yeah, I cannot believe that he's in his late 80s. He doesn't look a day over, like, 73. Like, if not less, like, maybe in his late 60s. It's just...
And he acts hella young, too.
So interesting to me. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, he grew up on a cotton farm, picking cotton, dropped out of school in the third grade.
Like some interesting... Wow.
Yeah. And then his brother used him for, like, gator bait, and they hunted gators for a bit. And then he moved to California to seek out fame and fortune. Kind of did. I mean, it's interesting because dropping out of school in the third grade, perfectly valid for the greatest generation. Probably would have worked out fine for boomers, too. If either of us had dropped out of school in the third grade, right now we would be lucky to work at a fast food place. We probably wouldn't even be able to get a job at, like, McDonald's.
No, we're expected to have so much education, and then that education puts us into lifelong debt. Like, it's just...
Yeah, and then they don't want to pay us well with our education. They'll look at our bachelors, they'll look at our masters and be like, yeah, I know you have this much education, but you don't have experience. So... I'm in my 20s now, and I always feel like, I always have these moments where I feel like I'm so unaccomplished because I don't have an actual, like, big career path. I'm not in a home. I don't have, like, anything to show for my years of hard work, but it's like, what the hell am I talking about? I'm the host of 2 podcasts. I work for a podcast network. I also have a whole ass separate job. Like, I should feel accomplished. And I feel like that's a real struggle for a lot of people in our generations. It's where, like...
millennials, yeah. I was going to say that's a very millennial thing.
How am I at this age and still feeling so unaccomplished?
Yeah, no matter how much you do. Like, both, like, even for me, you know, it's like, I've been through so much. Why can't I give myself my own validation? And why can't I, you know, it's interesting. Why do we always go down this rabbit hole of, like, coming from something very funny and, like, lighthearted, and then we go real deep real fast?
Oh man, I don't know.
No, but you know what, that's fine. This is our show and we can do whatever we want with it. I agree. I also, honestly, V, it's like, we've had a conversation before, and I admire this so much about you, is that, like, you and your husband you don't have the same, like, like, you don't cave to the pressure of having to climb, like, what society thinks you should be like, you should climb towards, right? Like, it's like, for example, it's like, I want to keep on going up the ladder of, like, being more successful, more school, more whatever, like, because I think, like, for some reason that will speak to me in my own heart. But I just love how you and your husband are, like, so, like, in love with each other, and just, you share a life with each other, and you don't ask for much, like, and that's...
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't need much. I don't need to have Jeffree Star's purse vault to be happy.
I don't need that either. Like, I think very few people need a Jeffree Star size purse vault.
Oh, apparently he needed it. He needed it bad.
I can't relate, but...
Maybe that's the problem with Gen Z, is they can't relate to us. Because they haven't yet hit much of the adult world, and they're just dipping their toes into it.
Oh, just wait until they get... I think they're just hitting college right now. Or...
Yeah. They're like...
Or almost finishing college. And finishing college is what gave us this almost, like, sarcastic view of the world, you know?
We got our college degrees, and we were like, okay, world, we're ready. And the world was like, okay, fuck you.
Yeah, that's probably what the Gen Z... I mean, like, also, Gen Zers have so much more than we did in terms of just technology and nice things, and what, like, I feel like their parents were the silent generation, right? And they didn't have to deal with so much of the depressing job search as we did, because they still had that opportunity before us. Like, so they were successful, and they give to their kids. Like, they, you know, they're able to give all this stuff to their kids. And I can see it in a lot of the Gen Zers that I can observe in my own personal life. They have a lot. Let's say they're privileged, but they're a little privileged. Like, they're just a little privileged. Also, that's like it varies from different people, but I don't know. It's an interesting conversation to have about why are the generations the way that they are. I don't think it's quite honestly that fair for us to speak on behalf of the Gen Zers because we don't know what they deal with.
Yeah, no, it's all an estimation of what's going on. But I mean, maybe this is a conversation we can have again in like a year or so. Give them some time to get out of college.
Yeah. I mean, how dare you? How dare you tell me what's canceled if you haven't even seen what life is yet?
You know what? I do agree. Skinny jeans are a little uncomfortable, but god damn it, I'm not going to look like Ozzy Osbourne with the middle part.
I don't care. I like skinny jeans still. I don't live in jeans anymore is what I'm saying.
I don't think anybody lives in jeans anymore. I think it's an occasional outfit choice.
Ever since 2020 hit the fan, like there's, you know, I feel like our society as a whole shifted in this whole direction that we never would have imagined ourselves in. So I'm okay with sitting with what I'm wearing right now, which is just the sweat and leggings. I do miss dressing up though.
That wraps it up for today. We'll see you guys next week. Make sure you check us out on Instagram at the Cat and V Show. We didn't do any research for this because there was no reason to. Bye!
Because there's no reason to. Yeah, there's literally there's nothing to support their argument that it's just their opinions. It's legitimately their opinions.
Want to help support the Pull Up a Chair podcast network? Donations keep this show and others in our lineup going. All donations are tax deductible. Links with more information can be found in the description of this podcast.
Drink Something, Say Something is the podcast for those of you who are tired of other beer podcasts. Tired of the jargon, tired of all the rigmarole. We're going to bring on brewers, bartenders, and everything in between to talk about anything and everything from beer to the rest of the universe. Come crack one open with us every other Thursday.